surface temperature, if we see, average is 15 degrees Celsius. Okay, 15 degree Celsius. Okay, and in absence of greenhouse effect, in absence of greenhouse effect, it would have been minus 19 degrees Celsius, and the earth would have been then a frozen lifeless planet. Okay, earth would have been a frozen lifeless planet in absence of greenhouse effect. So first clarity you should have that greenhouse effect is a natural phenomena. It is a regulatory phenomena by which Earth's atmosphere and Earth's lower atmosphere and Earth's surface regulates its temperature. Okay, and how it's regulating, I have already explained you the mechanism. Again, I am telling you that Earth's lower atmosphere and the surface is not heated because of insolation, but it's heated because of out-moving long wave terrestrial radiation, and there are certain gases in the Earth's atmosphere, and those gases have the tendency that when these long wave terrestrial radiation are moving out, then they are being trapped. Okay, and when they are being trapped, they will keep the radiate energy and will keep the lower atmosphere warm. And this is the reason why average Earth's surface temperature is 15 degrees Celsius. Had this greenhouse effect not been there as a naturally occurring phenomena, then the surface temperature of the Earth would have been minus 19 degrees Celsius, and then the Earth would have been a frozen, lifeless planet. So greenhouse effect is a natural phenomena, essential phenomena for existence of life on planet Earth, and this is the phenomena, right, through which Earth is regulating its surface and lower atmosphere temperature. Heating and cooling mechanism of lower atmosphere is dependent on greenhouse effect, right? Greenhouse effect. Have you understood, yes or no? Will you be able to write about greenhouse effect clearly or not? All of you need to understand. Please give me the clearance, all of you. Please give me the clearance. Yes, have you understood? What is greenhouse effect? A naturally occurring phenomena through which Earth regulates the temperature of lower atmosphere and surface, which makes life possible on planet Earth. Okay, and what is this phenomena? That there are certain gases in Earth's atmosphere which have the tendency to trap the out-moving long wave terrestrial radiation, and thereby they keep the lower atmosphere warm and the Earth's surface warm. Okay, lower atmosphere warm and the Earth's surface warm. So this is what, right, this is what you need to understand about greenhouse effect. Now, what is global warming, right? What is global warming? So you should remember that there is increasing concentration of greenhouse gases. There is increasing concentration of greenhouse gases. Okay, greenhouse gases. Okay, there is increasing concentration of greenhouse gases. And because of this increasing concentration of greenhouse gases, okay, increasing concentration of greenhouse gases, what is happening? Now they are trapping more and more long wave terrestrial radiation. When they are trapping more and more, long wave terrestrial radiation, what is happening? Earth's lower atmosphere and surface temperature, this is what is increasing. This is increasing. And this has been termed as global warming. This has been termed as global warming. So due to increasing concentration of greenhouse gases, what's happening? The gradual increase is there, slow increase is there in the temperature of Earth's lower atmosphere, and not only Earth's lower atmosphere temperature is changing, increasing, but even the surface temperature of the Earth is increasing, and this problem has been presented to us as global warming. So what is global warming? Gradual rise in temperature of lower Earth atmosphere of Earth and the surface of Earth. And this rise in the temperature is on account of what? Increasing concentration of greenhouse gases. And why their concentration is increasing in the Earth's atmosphere? Because more emission is happening, and primarily human factor, anthropogenic factors, right? Anthropogenic factors. And then this global warming is a big problem. Okay, this global warming is a big problem. What are the impacts of global warming? Global warming impacts. If we see, right, if we see impact, first impact is rise in sea level. Okay, rise in sea level. Why the sea level is rising? Right, why the sea level is rising? One is what you have been told in the childhood, but that's not the only case. Melting of glaciers, melting of glaciers, then melting of ice caps. Okay, so snow peaked, snow capped peaks of mountains like Himalayas. Okay, so melting of ice caps, melting of glaciers. Okay, melting of glaciers. Then thermal coefficient of expansion. I would not say this, but thermal coefficient of expansion. Okay, so melting of glaciers, melting of ice caps, and the most important, thermal coefficient of expansion is the reason why there is rise in sea level. Okay, so what is thermal coefficient of expansion? Those who are not from science background, everything expand on heating. Okay, so there everything will expand on heating. You know very well what we experience during summer. When you will try to close the doors, there will be a struggle. Okay, and during winters, even when you will close the doors, then the wind is able to pierce and penetrate inside the room, and that wind has cold biting effect in it. Very cold it is. Okay, why? because everything expand on heating and everything contract on cooling. So when the sea temperature, sea surface temperature or sea water temperature is increasing because of, you know, global warming, so what is happening? There is increase in the volume of water in the sea. And when there will be increase in the volume of water, there will be increase in the sea level. Okay, there will be increase in the sea level. So global warming, rise in sea level, melting of glaciers, melting of ice caps, right? Climate change, I have already explained you that this, you know, warming up of lower Earth's atmosphere and surface of Earth is actually making summers hotter, winters cooler, erratic nature of rainfall, shift in the season, right? Shift in the season. Not only that, right? Not only that, bleaching of coral reefs. So bleaching is what? Damage caused to coral reefs. Bleaching of coral reefs, right? Bleaching of coral reefs. Okay. Not only that, habitat loss, habitat loss, habitat loss, loss of biodiversity, so many species which are not able to adapt with changing, you know, climate and with rising temperature of sea surface, land surface and lower atmosphere, you know, they will meet with extinction. And very fast is the rate at which biodiversity is depleting, right? Biodiversity is depleting. Okay, so what I would just like you all to remember, that global warming, rise in sea level, melting of glaciers, melting of ice caps, thermal coefficient of expansion, bleaching, these all are the impact of global warming. But global warming and climate change is the biggest environmental threat which humanity is facing as on date, according to me. And all these are, you know, having intricate relationship, you know, intricate relationship is there. Okay. Now, once you have understood what is greenhouse effect and what is, right, what is this, one thing I would just like you, just I am setting the tone, basics I am discussing because I have to mainly talk about, you know, Kyoto Protocol, I have to talk about Paris Climate Agreement, I have to talk about the various COPs, I have to talk about, you know, the Cancun, the Bali Action Plan, you know, what talks will happen this year in November at Glasgow, why the world is looking to, I have to talk about that. But I am just making you aware about the problem first, and then we will be talking about everything else. Okay, everything else. Anyway, coming back, right? Coming back, what I said. So you have understood what is greenhouse effect. Now, greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases, if you see. Okay, greenhouse gases, if you see. Now, when it comes to greenhouse gases, okay, now within this, right, within this, I would place at the top water vapor. Okay. So what I would like you to remember, that the moisture content in the air, which is in the form of vapor, has a great tendency to trap this out moving long wave terrestrial radiation. Okay, it has, right, it has a great tendency. But one thing I would like you to remember, that if you see, if you see, when it comes to greenhouse effect, or when it comes to global warming, uh, increased percentage or concentration of water vapor in atmosphere can be attributed as the biggest contributor, right, biggest contributor to greenhouse effect. Okay, biggest contributor to greenhouse effect, you need to understand this. Okay, water vapor, right, water vapor can be the biggest contributor to greenhouse effect. Okay, but having said this, right, having said this, human factor cannot be attributed directly for increasing concentration of water vapor. Okay, so we are not involved in activities. Okay, we are not involved in activities where there is direct release of water vapor, and because of that, the concentration of water vapor is increasing in Earth's lower atmosphere. But having said this, you need to understand that another greenhouse gas is carbon dioxide, and definitely human factors are responsible for increasing concentration of carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere. Not only carbon dioxide, but methane, fluorinated gases. And what is happening, since the Earth's atmosphere temperature is increasing, Earth's surface temperature is increasing, it has accelerated the pace and rate of evaporation. And when the pace and the rate of evaporation is high, because of this, water vapor concentration is also increasing. Ashish is asking about how to combat global warming. We will come to that, right? If we reduce or eliminate the consumption of fossil fuel, that can be a big way. Okay, so we will talk on all those things. Just wait, have patience. Okay, have patience. Coming back, right, coming back, हम अगर पेरिस क्लाइमेट अग्रीमेंट को फुलफिल कर लें, that can be a big step forward towards combating this. So just wait. So first you need to understand this. They have asked a lot of question on this in the prelims exam. Only with conceptual clarity you can answer such type of questions. Again, I am telling you, water vapor is the biggest contributor to greenhouse effect, but human factor directly cannot be attributed for increasing concentration of water vapor in the Earth's atmosphere. However, right, with increasing temperature of atmosphere and surface, the rate and pace of evaporation has increased, and definitely that is one reason why the concentration of water vapor is increasing. Is this the clarity? Right? Is this the clarity? Okay, now coming back, right, coming back, another greenhouse gas is CO2, carbon dioxide, right, carbon dioxide. And one thing I would like you to remember, right, that this is primary greenhouse gas. And why I am saying, this is, it's, the concentration has increased because of human activities. Okay, its concentration in Earth's atmosphere is increasing. Okay, now in this regard, I would like you all to have this awareness. Why the concentration of CO2 is increasing? Okay, so number one is combustion of fossil fuels. Combustion of fossil fuels. So more and more, right, more and more we are consuming coal, crude oil, petroleum, diesel, kerosene. More and more is the release of carbon dioxide. और सबसे ज़्यादा electricity generation के लिए coal based thermal power plants. Because of that, there is very high quantity of CO2 released in the Earth's atmosphere. So one is combustion of fossil fuel, and second is deforestation. Second is deforestation. Every time we cut and fell down tree, every time, I hope you all know, ocean and forest is carbon sink. At any given point of time, tree is holding large quantity of carbon dioxide, and the moment you cut and fell a tree, that moment itself there is significant release of carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere. Okay, so you know very well that green plants have the ability to produce their own food, photosynthesis. So chlorophyll is there in green leaves. What they do? They observe carbon dioxide in presence of sunlight. With sunlight and with chlorophyll, they are able to produce their food. So at any point of time, the moment we cut and fell down a tree, instantaneously, immediately there will be release of carbon dioxide. So two prime reason why CO2 concentration is increasing. One is combustion of fossil fuel, and second is deforestation. Because we need more land for development, for construction of houses, for creation of infrastructure. And what is happening in different parts of the world, we are cutting and felling down trees. So CO2, right? CO2 is another gas, is the main gas, greenhouse gas. Then is methane. Then is methane. Now CH4, methane, another greenhouse gas. Now what exactly you need to understand that there is increasing concentration of methane in Earth's atmosphere, and how the methane is increasing, from where the methane is increasing. ये जो coal mines है, okay, so coal mines से methane release हो रहा है. Not only that, right? Not only that, paddy cultivation, wetland. Okay, so you know very well that whenever we cultivate paddy, what is the one very important facet of paddy cultivation? Knee-deep water in the field. Okay, so wherever there will be wetland, there will be swampy area, there will be marshy area, there will be dampness, excessive will be the moisture content in the soil. From that reason, what may happen? Release of methane. Not only that, right? Not only that, when we dump the fecal matter of cattle or any living organism, okay, you know very well that if we dump cattle dung or cow dung, gobar gas, okay, then what may happen? There will be release of methane. Okay, there are many other activities through which but basically livestock rearing, paddy cultivation, coal mining, burning of wet wood, then also there is release of methane. Okay, there is release of methane. So methane is a greenhouse gas. Then is nitrous oxide. Okay, from where the nitrous oxide is getting released in the Earth's atmosphere, and it's concentrated. See, I hope you know well that these days, to increase the agricultural production, what is done? There is mad race for use of chemical fertilizer, and the cheapest, you must have studied in economics, NPK, nitrogenous, phosphorus and potash, and the cheapest among the three is nitrogenous fertilizers. So worldwide, what is happening? Too much is the use of nitrogenous fertilizer. So when there is chemical breakdown of nitrogenous fertilizer, there is release of nitrous oxide, and that is how there is release of nitrogenous nitrous oxide in the Earth's atmosphere. And also nitrogenous oxide is emitting from vehicular emission. Okay, so the petrol and the other fuel which we are using in for internal combustion engines, that also lead to release of nitrous oxide. Okay, that also leads to nitrous oxide. But in addition to this, right, and this is something which you need to know, fluorinated gases are also greenhouse gases. And not only they are greenhouse gas with the tendency to trap the out moving long wave terrestrial radiation, but these fluorinated gases are also ozone depleting substance. We are going to study about ozone depletion as a global environmental challenge, and about in that we will talk about the Kigali Agreement, the recent most Kigali Agreement in detail. Okay, but fluorinated gases, ये तो बहुत environment के लिए बड़ा threat है. Not only because it's a greenhouse gas, but it's equally responsible for depletion of ozone. And if you compare fluorinated gases with carbon dioxide, maybe 1,000 times higher is the greenhouse potential. 1,000 times higher is the potential. Okay, so global warming potential is very high in these fluorinated gases. So minor increase in the Earth's atmosphere can have damaging and devastating impact. Okay, and within fluorinated gases, right, within fluorinated gases, number of gases are there, but they are broadly classified into HFCs, that is hydrofluorocarbons. Do I have to write? Hydrofluorocarbons. Hydrofluorocarbons. Okay. Then PFCs. Okay. So PFCs, when I say, it is perfluorocarbons. PFCs, perfluorocarbons. And then is SF6. SF6, that is sulfur hexafluoride. Sulfur hexafluoride. Okay, so fluorinated gases broadly can be classified into three categories, and many gases are there. All those which fall in the category of hydrofluorocarbons or perfluorocarbons, okay, perfluorocarbons, or they fall in the category of sulfur hexafluorides. Okay, sulfur hexafluorides. And why their concentration minor increase, but from where the concentration Okay, from where the concentration has increased. So I would just like you all to have this awareness that from air conditioner industry, from foam packing industry, from aluminum and semiconductor manufacturing, from perfume, from spray paint. Nowadays, what we want, silky touch when we go for paint. The paint which is done on the surface of wall or wooden polish or vehicle, spray paints which are used, in those we have hydrofluorocarbons, PFCs, sulfur hexafluoride. Air conditioners, refrigerator industry, air conditioners, perfume, okay, aluminum smelting, semiconductor manufacturing. These are some of the areas. But what I want you all to understand, that, see, greenhouse gases you have understood, those who have the tendency, and the biggest contributor is water vapor, but directly human factor, anthropogenic factor, cannot be held responsible for increasing concentration of water vapor. Okay, I just want you to have this awareness. There is a term called GWP. This is global warming potential. Global warming potential. Okay, global warming potential. Now, let me just put it like this, that if CO2 has, a global warming potential of X, then methane, CH4, has a potential of 21x. 21 time is, more potential for global warming in methane. Then if you see nitrous oxide, then 310x. Okay, 310x. Okay, 310x. Okay, then if you see HFCs, hydrofluorocarbons, if you see. Okay, so various gases falls within this category of HFC. Some of them have 140x and some of them have 11,500x. This much wide is the potential. Okay, if you see PFC, perfluorocarbons, so different gases are there. They range from 6,500x to 9,200x. Okay, 9,200x. Okay, then if you see SF6, you can't even imagine, 2,300, 23,900x, 23,900x. Okay, so can you think, right? Can you think? So what I want you all to understand here, that we cannot be worried only about carbon dioxide. Now, why we need to be worried about carbon dioxide also, we need to understand that present day global warming, if we see, right? If we see present day global warming, then the present day global warming at least 60% of present day global warming, what we are experiencing, is on account of increased concentration of carbon dioxide on planet Earth, in the Earth's atmosphere. You need to understand this. This clarity must be there. Okay. So approximately, right? Okay. Approximately 60%. Right? Approximately 60%, even more than that. Okay. 10 to 12% present day global warming is on account of increased concentration of methane. Okay. I would say carbon dioxide, you say 70%. Okay. Methane, you say 12 to 15%. Present day global warming is on account of this. Nitrous oxide, 4%. And the remaining fluorinated, fluorinated gases, if we see, then definitely, right? Definitely on account of that, remaining whatever may be together. But I am interested in telling you that it's a scientifically established fact that if we see sulfur hexafluoride global warming potential, it is 24,000 times more in comparison with carbon dioxide. So minor increase in sulfur hexafluoride can prove to be disastrous. Thankfully अभी तो concentration बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं बढ़ने दिया है, but day by day release is happening, right? Release is happening. Now, in addition to these greenhouse gases, other greenhouse substances, if you see, also includes black carbon. Okay, black carbon. Okay, so black carbon we are using for solid particle or aerosol. Solid particle or aerosol. Okay, and many a times black carbon is referred as soot. Okay, and it is in the form of a particulate matter, and it is many, particulate matter in atmosphere, particulate matter, and this particulate matter, consists pure carbon, and this particulate matter कहाँ से आ रहा है? Biomass burning. Okay, कहाँ से आ रहा है? Whenever we are cooking with solid fuels, okay, so burning of wood, okay, burning of stubble burning, you must be knowing that when paddy is cultivated in the field, now in the month of March, farmers, they want to, not March, even in the month of November, December, the farmers will like to clear the paddy and prepare the field for rabi crops. So they will set on fire. So this black carbon, which is solid particle or aerosol, particulate matter with pure carbon, and that is rising from, the biomass burning, is also a global warming contributor, right? Global warming contributor. And let me just tell you what exactly, when you would have, how it is a global warming contributor, right? Global warming contributor. I just want you to remember this, that you must be have heard about heat budget. You must have heard about albedo. Okay, so this black carbon is the strongest observer of sunlight, insolation, and when it observes the insolation, it hits the air directly. Okay, so this is, in addition to greenhouse gas, it's a black carbon is also, because, right, because it observes the direct sunlight, these particulate matters which are there. So black carbon, okay, black carbon. Okay, देन इज ब्राउन कार्बन. आजकल ये सब वर्ड आ रहा है न्यूज़पेपर में, ब्राउन कार्बन. ये mainly forest fire these days, I hope you are aware with the fact that there is increasing incidence of wild forest fire. So whenever there is biomass burning, there is unidentified component of organic aerosol. Unidentified. Organic aerosol. Okay, aerosol. And this has come, earlier we were saying that there is only black carbon, but there are many, organic particulate matter suspended in the air, and that kind of organic aerosol we see whenever there is wildfire, and that has been, termed and tagged as brown carbon, and that is also one of the contributory factor for this global warming, right? Global warming. और अभी हम जब ये इंटेंसिफाई किए हैं, एटमॉस्फेरिक रिसर्च, ये जब इंटेंसिफाई किए, these we have started identifying many, unidentified component as well suspended in the air as organic aerosol, and they have been termed as brown carbon. And what I would like you to remember, that these unidentified component of organic aerosol have a special feature, light observing. So like black carbon, they have the feature to observe sunlight, light observing feature. Sunlight they can observe, and they are other than soot. If they are pure carbon, then we will call them black carbon. But if they are not, pure carbon and they are organic in nature but has the ability to observe sunlight, then we call them as brown carbon, right? Then we call them as brown carbon. Okay, have you understood this? So they are also responsible for global warming, but but when it comes to greenhouse gases, right, then you should remember that water vapor is responsible, carbon dioxide is there, methane is there, nitrous oxide is there, and then large number of gases which fall in the category of, fluorinated gases. And within fluorinated gases, we have divided these different type of gases into three broad categories. One is, hydrofluorocarbons, second is perfluorocarbons, and the third is sulfur hexafluoride. And I have already told you that if we compare the global warming potential of fluorinated gases, it's very, very high in comparison with carbon dioxide. Even methane and nitrous oxide has higher potential, but the worry is about fluorinated gases because 1,000 times higher is the potential, and they are not only greenhouse gas, but they are also ozone depleting substance. So I hope you understood the problem. What is the problem? Now let me just tell you, whenever you are writing an answer, because now I will be entering into the technical part of the discussion. Okay, technical part of the discussion. So, whenever you are writing about, right, whenever you are writing about global warming, climate change, rise in the sea level, okay, so let me just put it like this. What is happening? Okay, that because of this global warming, there is rise in the sea level. Okay, and because of rise in the sea level, what's happening? Right, what's happening? Bleaching of coral reefs. Okay, bleaching of coral reefs. Not only bleaching of coral reefs, but loss of plankton. Okay, due to warming of seas. And the most immediate impact of, you know, half of the world population is settled in the coastal region. So rise in the sea level will lead to submergence of coast. Rise in the sea level will lead to submergence of low-lying islands. And this planet will be left behind millions and billions of environmental refugees. I don't know whether you have this understanding and awareness. When we are forced to leave our native place, no matter how much is the problem, it's a very painful experience for anyone. The place where you are born, the place where you are brought up, the place where you have stayed with your family, for any reason, if you have to leave that place, it's a very painful thing. So because of rise in the sea level, submergence of coast, submergence of low-lying islands, billions of environmental refugees in the world. Not only that, right? This global warming has accelerated the pace of loss of biodiversity. Every minute, the world is losing thousands of species. Different type of plant species, different kind of animal species. Okay, so thousands of species we are losing. And when I will talk about biodiversity, I will tell you, richer the biodiversity, more stable is the ecosystem. I have already explained you the concept of ecosystem. I have talked about the biotic interactions. If less species will be there, weak will be the interaction, and when weak will be the interaction, then instability, or it will destabilize ecosystems. So every minute we are losing species. And you know the sad part of this story. Okay, sad part of this story. Today we feel that we will minimize the ill impact of global warming with money power and with technology. So what we are doing, if summer is becoming hotter, then more refrigerator, more air conditioner, more aluminum smelting, more semiconductor manufacturing, then what's happening, right? Further release of greenhouse gases, further warming, further climate change, and this vicious cycle. Okay, so I just want that whenever you are writing, please touch upon bleaching of coral reefs, rise in the temperature is also responsible for many spread of diseases. Vector-borne disease, mosquito bites related disease, and so many other diseases. Right? So many other diseases. Have you got that? Have you understood this? Okay, so whenever you write, you should write, with feel of the problem. That if we don't take affirmative step now, then it will be too late. Right? It will be too late. So have you understood this problem? Now let me just tell you, right? Let me just tell you, I have already told you about IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. You know very well that presently IPCC is engaged and involved in preparing the sixth synthesis report. And next year, September, the sixth assessment report will be released. Before that, the 3 working group will submit the report. Okay, so we have discussed in detail about IPCC. Now let me just tell you, remind you, okay, that what happened in 1992 Earth Summit or Rio Summit, and the 3 agreements which were opened for signing in 1992 while the world was preparing for this summit. One was UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. One was UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Okay. Second is CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity. And third is UNCCD, Convention on Combating Desertification, right? Desertification. So, 19 Brundtland Commission in 1987 itself discussed in detail that climate change and global warming is a big concern for humanity from environment perspective. And then was, the establishment of IPCC with UNEP joining hands with WMO, World Meteorological Organization. We have discussed about that. But when the world was preparing for Earth Summit, then they realized that during Earth Summit, the problem which should be given maximum time for discussion, deliberations, and to formulate what corrective action can be taken, that was on account of, that was decided at Earth Summit, and this led to the, formulation of this convention, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. And let me tell you, convention is broad agreement which is only binding, legally binding, when it is ratified by the party. Okay. So Diksha Pandey is asking, while writing answer on global warming effect, can we also include social effects like decreasing food security? You have to talk about food security. Why? Because with shift in the, season, agricultural production, will decrease. And if not decrease, it will be very challenging to increase. But world population is increasing. When the world population is increasing, we have to increase the food production. But with shift in the season, अभी क्या हो रहा है? फ्लड्स बढ़ गया है, ड्रॉट बढ़ गया है, सुनामी, shift in the season, and very adversely it's impacting and affecting the agricultural production. And if agricultural production will get adversely impacted, then definitely it will induce serious problem related with food security. But I hope you know that food security one challenge is on front of production, but other challenge is on the front of distribution. India में तो almost 300 million metric tons we are producing. Even then there are people who don't have access to two-time food, and there are some districts in India which will report sometime very disturbing starvation deaths. Okay, so definitely you should include about food security. Now let us talk technical things. So Earth Summit or Rio Summit Rio Summit, and why it was known as summit and everything we have discussed. Okay, so led to, right, led to what? Signing of UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and all those who signed the convention, they were termed, right, they were termed party to convention. What they were called? They were called party to convention. So it was decided, once it was signed by all the UN member country, so it was decided that these parties will meet, and their meeting, right, and their meeting will lead to fixation of the responsibilities of the parties. Okay, so this was what was decided, right? This was what was decided. So let me just tell you that UNFCCC was opened for signing in which year? 1992. Okay, 1992. And when it was opened for signing, when it was open for signing, when it was open for signing, those who signed were called parties to convention. They were called parties to convention, and it was decided that there will be conference of parties, COPs. There will be conference of parties. Okay, and conference of party, right, conference of parties will lead to, right, conference of parties will lead to fixation of responsibilities for parties. So parties will, parties will decide that how they are going to fix, right, how they are going to fix the responsibility, how they are going to together combat this problem. What will be the responsibility, what will be the response, right, what will be the action of various parties, that will be decided, that is to be decided by the party. So this is how, right, this is how the things progressed, right, this is how the thing progressed. So after 1992, now this is very important. Okay, this is very, very important. So COP1 under UNFCCC, that is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Okay, so COP1, right, COP1 under UNFCCC, okay, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, was held at Berlin. Where was it held? Where it was? It was held at Berlin. So COP1 1995, and it was held at Berlin. Okay. And you should remember that approximately 196 parties are there to this convention, right? 196 parties are there to this convention. So COP1, right, COP1 was held at 1995 in Berlin. 92, right, 92, with signature from the member countries of United Nations. This convention was opened for signing, and 196 parties signed. Okay, 196 parties signed, and this whole convention, if you see, that is based on central theme: common but differentiated. Differentiated responsibilities.